A former Saline County sheriff forced to retire amid a controversial arrest is trying to get back in the saddle. Winter storm warnings and advisories now covering most of the state. Looks like we could be experiencing some icy conditions by this time tomorrow. A Little Rock man is behind bars tonight, charged with the shooting death of a teenager. A 27-year-old parolee admitted to firing several shots into an SUV during what's being called a case of road rage in West Little Rock. Donna Kevin, a woman, explained how she was nearby when her co-worker found that 9-year-old little boy right here by the bushes just outside of their office. Now, this is just about a block away from his home. KARK4's Jocelyn Tovar has much more on this overnight shooting. Jocelyn, you spoke to the woman who lives at the home where this happened. An attack sends 3 people to the hospital. Now, police say it may have all started with a drug deal. Now for a KARK4 update. The Hot Springs Fire Chief says they will be interviewing witnesses this week while looking into the cause of the Majestic Hotel fire. A Northwest Arkansas business is recalling 12 tons of raw chicken. Well, this is, of course, a very tough time for this tight-knit community. They have focused on staying prayerful and positive. You can see signs like this one are up nearly everywhere you go. Well, tomorrow, the legislature has the day off from their fiscal session, but Tuesday, a critical vote is expected in the House of Representatives.
Well, right now, Donna, there are state leaders and community members who are on the steps of the state capitol. You can see here right behind me, there are hundreds of people here. Bob, right now, County Judge Buddy Valine says the Broadway Bridge is rotting and they have to make some really necessary upgrades. When people think of bath salts, this is one of the items they're thinking of. You might consider them maybe crystal beads that you could put in your bathtub. You can see where they're so light that they would probably dissolve.
Thousands of runners and their supporters are now taking over downtown Little Rock for the epic Little Rock Marathon. KARK's Drew Petrimo live from the annual Costa Party. It's loud. Sounds like a lot of fun there, Drew. Listen to this.
Yeah, listen up.
It's an incredible story at the University of Memphis where there have been a lot of changes over the last 50 years, but one thing that stayed the same is the Bat Boy. It is a National Wear Red Day. I complied. Dr. Bala here has on his red as well, and it's all for the American Heart Association's initiative asking people to wear red to raise awareness for heart disease. That looks lovely all of a sudden. 60s and 70s throughout the week.
60s and 70s and some rain, which we could use, obviously, some rainfall.
You did mention that we could see a cold and warm front in the same day.
In the same day, absolutely. So a lot of changing, quickly moving weather patterns.
As long as we get closer to spring, I'm good with that.
We're getting there.
Thanks so much, Pat.
The rescues in this area are complete. They're actually carrying away an elderly couple right now that was just rescued from their home. It was knocked off of its foundation.
Story you'll see only on KARK. And Brittney, people there are petitioning for change there.
They are, Bob. They've been through so much. Just within the past year, residents have dealt with a huge fire, flooding, most recently a neighbor down the hall dead and deteriorating. Unfortunately, according to this police log, that's not all.
Pure hell.
This is how Herman Crutchfield describes his apartment.
We got people coming off the street, sleeping in the stairway.
He's not alone.
I'm not paying over $585, damn near $600 to live in this kind of...
Vietnam War veteran Chester Brown says he'd rather go back to being homeless than stay here.
I told him I'd go back to the pub. I ain't got to live like this.
Nearly a year after a fire ripped through Plaza Towers, the building is under new management, but exterior damage remains, along with complaints about leaks, appliances that don't work, and too many reasons to call police. We requested 3 months of calls from Plaza Towers to Little Rock Police. Here are the reports. There are dozens of calls. You've got disturbances, assaults, harassment, and on the very last page, the most recent, police found a dead body Tuesday. An 85-year-old died from natural causes in his room on the 5th floor.
They thought it was a dead rat.
But it took 2 weeks to notice. By then, the smell greeted anyone getting off the elevator, tired of neglect.
Everybody signed it.
Residents are signing a petition pushing for more security. As soon as they showed us their maintenance concerns, a repairman showed up.
You have to get the carpet clean.
The men are hoping they'll follow through after the cameras are gone.
We deserve to be treated right.
We called Ledick Management, the company that owns Plaza Towers and a few other properties throughout Little Rock. No response yet, but the manager on site says that they are looking into getting new security cameras for the property and also assigning floor captains to help cut down on concerns and these calls to police. Back to you.